Acrylic painting update. I just entered a painting into a contest that must remain anonymous. I spent several months on it, but I will post the video as soon as the contest is over. Thank you. Welcome to the Art of Tom Gallovich. Here are the colors we will be using for today's watercolor. Let's take a look and see what we're going to use as reference. Okay, we're going to render the keys in FOB, but my goal is to render them as lifelike as possible. So my photographic reference will be very important as to how I want to portray this. Now, if it's a metal object, it's going to reflect. So I want to know what it is reflecting, but I also want to know what the values of the keys are themselves. Are they dark keys reflecting dark, or are they light keys reflecting dark? In this particular photo, it's a dramatic side lighting with an artificial light. I could have put reflective cards up to reflect white and various elaborate photographic setups, but what I found would be much easier is just to take them outside like this picture, and now what I have is an outside picture, everything evenly illuminated. The FOB is more evenly illuminated. It's not going to have a hard dark to light sense like the other one did. And then now also it's going to reflect what's around it. And the 1, 2, and 4 key is reflecting the clouds in the sky. And the number 3 key from the left is reflecting blue from the blue sky. That was a patchy, cloudy day that I photographed these outside. And in my opinion, it is really portraying the keys as they are, but it's also showing the reflective properties of the metal. So for this particular illustration, I will use this particular photograph. Let's get started. Okay, here's our next watercolor. It's going to be a key fob with just 4 keys on it, and we could change the background a little bit compared to what it is. But I just got done showing you the difference between photographing it outdoors and indoors with a light, and the blues that will be reflected, as I said, are going to be blues that we'll be putting in to these keys. Now here's just a couple of quick things I want to go over. One is these keys are fairly light, so I'm going to take an eraser and lighten up my pencil lines a little bit while I can. And then also, 2 is very important. I'm going to be mixing a lot of the colors on the paper themselves. This is very important to note because there's a lot of artists that will say putting down your colors, nice vibrant colors, and then leaving them go will give you nice vibrant colors and it won't have that overworked look. True, but it also won't be an accurate representation of a landscape or trees or anything else. Putting down pure vibrant colors will stay pure and vibrant if you don't fuss with them, but it's also a more classic watercolor that lends to the watercolor look, but not necessarily accurately representing an object. Okay, I'm going to lighten up a little bit of this. That's so I can barely see it. Okay, a quick word about painting tools. Red sable brushes, obviously, but here's my palette. And I will show you what I also like to use is the ceramic trays in different sizes. And I really like using these only because if I do a more elaborate rendering of something, then what happens is I may be using specific combinations of colors for this key, for that key, for that key. This way I keep my colors separate and I don't contaminate them with any other colors from the painting. Okay, before I start, I missed some lines transferring it over from my transfer. We'll do that speed drawing. Right now I'm trying to duplicate lines that are less than a 1/16 inch apart. That does not come out well with a graphite transfer. Okay, quick rundown. This one, and this one, I'm going to leave a warmer gray. And this one, the third one, I will make it a cooler gray. And I am going to get those grays by using my burnt umber and my French ultramarine blue. And then maybe even a little wee bit of raw sienna also, because it's a little wee bit yellowish up in here, and that'll even warm it up even more. So let's go ahead and get started. I try to go over all of the background information as much as I can for those who are just starting. Planning out a watercolor is very important. There is no going back. It is transparent, so it is virtually impossible to come back with lighter colors and try and lighten things up if you made them too dark. So with a good game plan in mind, it is very important that arguably transparent watercolors could be more planning than it is painting. Once you start painting, everything goes fairly quick. In this particular painting, I'm just going back over raw siennas, raw umbers for my gold area and brass area, and then the burnt umber and the French ultramarine blue for my silvery gray areas. I always start out really light, and by giving it several coats, I can even give it a nice even coat of any particular color as long as I have that particular color pre-mixed on my palette with enough to go to use for whatever area I'm trying to paint in. Remember, working from light to dark with no return is the way to handle the transparent watercolors. When I say transparent, I mean if you go back over with lighter colors, whether it be gouache, bleed-proof white, or even acrylics, then it is no longer a transparent watercolor. Working on my grays now, I'm working on the FOB. I will end up giving it 3 different layers or coats of gray. I'm trying to paint around the white. I mixed in permanent rose with the Scarlet Lake. We'll call this one done, and until I see you out in the field or back at the studio, thanks for watching.